We continue. As he said that he would not like to be disturbed. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance. So what did he do? He had robbed lots of money. So first of all, he paid lots of money to the landlord in advance. So they had no problem with that. Mrs. Hall was preparing to excuse a stranger's habit and irritable temper. Now, because he had paid the money, she also didn't want to much deal with him because he had paid well and he had strange habits and a very bad temper, means he used to get angry. So she also didn't want to much talk to him later on. But the stolen money did not last long. Obviously, how much money can you steal and run? So that money did not last long. Now the money was getting over. He had to eat, he had to live in that place, he had to give rent. Now the money was getting over, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. So now he had to admit also that I don't have money now. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. And what excuse did he give when he was unable to pay the money? So the excuse that he gave was that one of my check is going to arrive, and as soon as the check will arrive, I will get lots of money and then I will pay your rent. So he gave an excuse that, but it was a false excuse. There was no check to be which was going to arrive, but he had just said that my check is arriving, lots of money, I will pay you. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by the noise in the study. A clergyman means the person who is related to a church, just like a father, a priest. So that's known as a clergyman. So now another incident occurred that this clergyman and his wife were awakened by the noise in the study. Creeping downwards, they heard the clink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. So this clergyman and his wife heard some noise, and the noise was somebody had opened the desk and taking the money. That kind of noise it was. Without making any noise and with a poker grasped firmly in her hands, the clergyman flung open the door. Surrender. So they understood that maybe there is some thief inside the house. So quietly they went there and just opened, banged the door and said, surrender, means stop, surrender yourself. Then to the amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. So as soon as they opened the door, there was nobody in the room. So if there was somebody was stealing and there was noise, somebody would be visible, but there was nobody there. And he and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtain. So both of them started looking here and there. But when they opened the door, there was nobody inside. Behind the curtain, even up the chimney, everywhere they were looking. There wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. But when they saw that the desk was open and there was money inside, now there was no money, means obviously they were sure that somebody had robbed them. Somebody was there in the room who was robbing the money. Extraordinary affair. The clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. Now that clergyman said that it is really very extraordinary thing that has happened. The money is gone, everything was open, but yet there was nobody. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. Now another incident took place. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. So when they woke up early, the scientist had already waken up more early. So when they saw that the door was open where he was living, usually it was shut and locked. Usually, it was always, he never opened the door to anybody. So every day it was locked, but today it was open. So they were also surprised that how could he leave the door open, and always it was locked. Today it was wide open, and he was furious in if anyone entered the room, and if anyone ever entered the room, he used to get very angry. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. So when they saw inside the room, they couldn't find anybody inside the room. So he was a very mysterious person. So they decided to let us just see how he lives, what he does. So they started investigating his room, means looking for things. Can they find anything suspicious? The bedclothes were cold. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. So when they touched the bed, the sheet, it was really cold. Means nobody, obviously somebody might have waken up very early and gone. So the bed were cold. They were not warm. So they understood that somebody, that the scientist had waken up early and gone up for some time. And the stranger still, the clothes and the bandages that he always wore were lying about the room, and those bandages and everything that he used to wear, clothes also, they were in the room. So they were more surprised now. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ears. So as she was standing in the room, she heard some noise, sniff close to her ear, something as if something passed by, was very close to her ear, a kind of a sound. The moment later, that head of the bed spot leapt upon the dashed itself into her face. What happened? The head that was he wearing, that actually came directly and dashed itself to her face. That head dashed to the lady's face, Mrs. Hall's face. Then the bedroom chair became alive, springing into the air. It charged straight for her. See, just imagine, if things are flying in the room, how horrifying it can be. So when she saw, first the head came flying to her face, now the chair that was there, it was flying in the air. Just imagine how the situation would be. And were cold, and that's done, sniffed. Then the hat on the bedspread left and dashed into her face. Then the bedroom chair became alive, springing into the air. It charged straight at her legs foremost, and that flying chair came next to her legs. As she and her husband turned away in terror. So obviously anybody would feel afraid when things are flying in the room. So they were terrified. The extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam the lock and lock the door after them. So that chair was actually pushing them, flying. Nobody was there. So obviously they were terrified. They started running, both the Mr. and Mrs. Hall, and they heard a slam of the door, means somebody locked the door also after that. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysteric. She was so much afraid that she was almost going to fall down from the stairs. She was convinced that the room had been haunted by spirits and that the stranger had somehow caused this to enter into her furniture. What did she think? That she thought that there was a ghost in the room, and that stranger who had brought alive those furniture. So the things were flying in the room. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She moaned. The lady started crying. My mother used to sit on the chair. To think it should rise up against me now. And now she is more afraid that now that chair is rising against me. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. Means something related to ghost and witches. Means these types of things something had done, and it was due to that some kind of witchcraft. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's house became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. So the clergyman's robbery was also now discovered, and slowly the evidence were against him, Mr. Griffins, and everybody thought that he is a very mysterious man, maybe he might have done something. Suspicion grew very strong when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. Now he had also admitted that I don't have money and a check is going to arrive, and after that he produced lots of money. So where did that money come from? So it was more suspicious. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist who had somehow mysteriously appeared from the empty bedroom. So now the police were also after him, constable. Everybody was suspicious, mysterious, and he mysteriously appeared from that bedroom. Previously he was not there. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs. Now the woman is telling that what were you doing with my chair? How was the chair flying? She demanded. And I want to know how it is you came in an empty room and how you entered the locked room. How did you enter the room? I did not see you going inside the room. How did you come out of that room? All sorts of questions were asked to him. The scientist was always quick tempered. Now he became furious. Now actually he was very quick tempered, means he used to get angry. Now he got furious, very angry. You don't understand how or what I am, who or what I am. So he got angry and said, you don't understand, no? He shouted, very well, I'll show you. Now you want to know who I am? Look. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. It took him only a minute to do this. So he started removing his bandages, nose, everything he started removing, and as he removed his bandages, nose, it was totally invisible. It was so fearful. Took him only minutes. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at the headless man. There was a man who was actually headless. Mr. Jeffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. Now the person who had come there, poor fellow, to arrest him, he had to arrest a person who was not having head. Mr. Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty, but he did not stop. It is a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. He said that it is an order, now he has to be arrested. Maybe he might be having a head or not, that doesn't matter. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of the man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Now for the police also it was becoming very difficult, because he was removing his clothes one after the another, how to arrest him. Finally a shirt flew into the air and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. Now the problem was Mr. Jaffer had to arrest, but now he removed his shirt also, so it was totally now he was invisible. Now how can he arrest him? So it was becoming more difficult for him. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. So those people who tried to help Mr. Jaffer, the constable, to get hold of him, they got hit and blows, means he was now hitting them and injuring them. So the poor people also were helpless now, that seemed to be coming from nowhere, and you cannot see an invisible man, he can hit you from anywhere. How will you get hold of him? In the end, Mr. Jaffer was knocked unconscious. What happened at the end? Mr. Jaffer, who was arresting him, he was also knocked, means he was hit, he became unconscious as he made the last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. As he was policeman was trying to arrest him, he gave him a very hard blow. He became unconscious when he tried to arrest him. There were nervous, excited cries of hold him, but this was easier said than done. Everybody is telling, catch him, hold him, but how can you hold and catch a person to whom which is who is totally invisible, whom you cannot see. How can you get hold of him? How can you catch him? Then hold him. But this was easier said than done. It was very difficult. Griffin had shaken himself free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. Now he was running away. Nobody knew where he was, how to catch him. So again, Mr. Griffin, the scientist, ran away from the police, and nobody could catch him and even arrest him. Okay, so here we come to the end of the story. And as usual, we have to just write down the question answers which are from the text. Nothing much more. Keep the fair books ready until we meet again. Thank you very much.